So, this is a little bit awkward. So, over the last month or so, I've uploaded 2 YouTube videos where in the title of it I claimed that they were the best games of professional StarCraft 2 of 2021. And that on its own is already a little bit strange, right? Because as you can imagine, there should really only be one best game of the year. Now, here's the thing. This particular game of Protoss versus Terran on Glittering Ashes got played, I believe, on Monday, if you're watching this video on the week that it goes up. People on the internet... And people on the internet never lie, because everyone knows that's illegal. You cannot lie on the internet. People on the internet are saying that this is the actual best game of professional StarCraft 2 of this year. Now, I haven't seen it yet. I'm very excited to find out exactly what ended up going down between these two legends. I've managed to avoid all spoilers, so we're gonna find out together. But honestly, as a proper first world YouTuber problem, I have no idea what to title these videos anymore. I mean, I've been making videos for a very long time, and at this point, I don't know. If you have any suggestions of what I should have titled this video instead of whatever I will title it, let me know down below in the comment section. Maybe you see something cool in this game and you're like, okay, Lowko, you should have called it this instead. Anyways, so, spawning here in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes, playing with the red Protoss probes from Germany, we have none other than ShoWTimE. Widely considered to be the best European Protoss player. Don't think there's really a whole lot of debate there. The man has been around for like a decade, and he's very, very good at the game. His opponent. I mean, it's a little tricky to call him the best Terran player from Europe over the last decade or so, just because of the man, you know, being only like 19 years old. So when StarCraft 2 came out, he obviously wasn't as good as ShoWTimE is, you know, at this point. Anyways, so spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have none other than Clem. But I do think it is safe to say that Clem is widely considered to be the best Terran player that we've ever had outside of South Korea. Maybe even one of the very best Terran players of all time. Even though he's still so young, he's very, very good. He's been winning a bunch of stuff as well, obviously, over the last year or so, and he's looking ridiculously strong. He has been a little bit vocal recently that he doesn't really feel too good in Terran versus Zerg, even though historically speaking, Terran versus Zerg is his best matchup. And obviously, when Clem says he's not that good in TVZ, he's still beating guys like Raynor and like Serral and a whole bunch of these top-level players, so... anyways, he's been saying that he feels a little bit better in his TVP instead, so in his Terran versus Protoss. So we'll see exactly what he does right here against Mr. ShoWTimE. Get him! Oh, pretty sure actually the SCV wouldn't have killed that probe. Pretty sure it would have took that SCV 2 attacks to actually kill that probe. Anyways, a little bit of juking and jiving here. Already though, the command center is not in the perfect position, so even though a worker ended up going down, and obviously you want to avoid that at all costs, it is going to be ever so slightly delayed. Now, even though Clem feels very comfortable in this matchup, apparently that also includes building a starport right here on the right side of the map. Adept is coming across right now. Starports start here as well from our Protoss player. Obviously, ShoWTimE plays a very standard approach in his matchup. Not really taking any risks unnecessarily. I mean, every once in a while he likes to mix it up, but... I mean, I say this every single ShoWTimE cast that I do. He's known as Die Mauer. I know the German viewers of this video, they always love it whenever I talk German. Mein Deutsch ist nicht so good. But I do know that he's known as Die Mauer, which translates to the wall. Apparently, when you play against ShoWTimE, it feels like you're fighting against the wall, because the man just simply will not die. That also does at the exact same time mean that he does play a relatively predictable style. So he'll pretty much always do the same thing. Like, this is what I mean, right? So many Protoss players would send out an Oracle to try and be aggressive. Apparently not ShoWTimE. He's going to be patrolling it back and forth as a safety precaution. Building a wall right here at the front, right? Living up to his nickname. It's going to be extremely difficult for damage to come in from the front. That being said, yeah, there's 4 Hellions and a Medivac. I mean, this Medivac was proxied. ShoWTimE? Okay, he actually scouts it very early. I think he saw a glimpse right there of the Medivac. Yep, and this is a perfect example of what our Protoss player likes to do. Even though this was a proxy starport, right? It's supposed to show up a little bit earlier than the average, you know, Medivac drop. It's already deflected. All right, so I'm not really expecting a whole lot of fireworks here in the earlier stage of this game. Cyclone is a follow-up from Clem. There's going to be at least 1 Phoenix available. Second Phoenix is already out. Yep. And the third Phoenix is going to be joining these two very soon. I always love Phoenix openers. Been a big fan of them for a long time. I think they're very strong. The thing is, if you control the Phoenixes really well, they can deal a ton of damage as the game progresses. It's just very difficult to control them perfectly, because they're so fast and they can move and fire at the exact same time. But obviously, if you can lift up a couple of siege tanks in the big battles, that can definitely change the tide of them, and obviously you can go in and kill a bunch of your opponent's workers as well. Yeah, I mean, the Oracle can still do that too. Generally speaking, it always feels to me like the Protoss players want to get damage done in the earlier stages of these kinds of games, but apparently not quite the case here. ShoWTimE just taking full control of the map here. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I like these Phoenixes quite a bit as well. You just get such nice map control with them, and it's difficult for the opponent to really get any kind of damage done. Hello? Okay. I was gonna say, I feel like we need to kill that one. Third Nexus, just about to finish here. And as a follow-up, we do have that Robo facility coming up here for ShoWTimE. So already went for the Twilight Council. So we're seeing every single bit of tech right here from our Protoss. From a Stargate into a Twilight Council and now eventually into a Robo facility as well. Of course, generally speaking, we see Protoss players following this up with a couple of Colossi as well. Colossi are very good, especially against that biological-based army. And honestly, in Protoss versus Terran, there's really not that much variety here as far as the core unit composition from Terran goes. Every once in a while, they will mix it up, but Clem, I mean, he is a bio player through and through. He's pretty much always going to be going for that infantry-based force. And yeah, I'm really not surprised to see that at all. Once again, we see the Hellions threatening to go here for a run-by, but it's not happening. ShoWTimE is on point, and even though Clem is constantly testing the waters here, so far, he hasn't really been able to get anything done. Alrighty. Now look at the worker count, right? 67 probes already out here for ShoWTimE versus only 49 for Clem. This is where ShoWTimE is extremely scary. So basically, he just powers out a ton of workers, and obviously, there's mules and whatnot for the Terran player, and obviously in this matchup, they're pretty much always economically ever so slightly behind. But there's no denying that ShoWTimE is very good when it comes to just getting a ton of workers out and not dying to anything dumb. Looks like the Oracle is actually coming in. Picks up 3 more workers, not bad whatsoever. Terran is ready to go for the first big push. Hellions? Okay. Ooh, he's thinking about it. Hellions thinking about going for some double-pronged harassment over here. He needs to leave a few units at home in the wall, I guess, which he is gonna do. Storm is not done yet here for our Protoss player. Adept, hello. Adept. Oh, well. He could have actually gone in. But, okay. Well, eventually, he was a little bit indecisive there. Decided to return already upon seeing the Adepts, but the Adepts were actually mispositioned ever so slightly. I think he could have gone in, but probably wouldn't have been able to kill very much of anything anyway. Alright, so Clem actually giving his opponent quite a bit of respect as well. He saw the High Templar, of course, and even though Storm wasn't done just yet, he's like, you know what? This is one moment away from being an absolute disaster. He decides to return. Fourth Nexus immediately comes up as a follow-up. Alrighty. So far, we have 8 minutes of both players just kind of, you know, poking each other here and there. Trying to get some sort of work done, but overall, no one's really, very significantly ahead here. Upgrades are looking pretty good, though, for a Terran player, and obviously, supply-wise, things are looking pretty good as well. There's the Robo Bay coming up as well, by the way, together with that second Robo facility. So Storm is done at this point. Honestly, on this map, like on Glittering Ashes, we see a lot of macro games, and I think we are going to see more of them as well going forward, now that this map has been around for a couple of weeks. It's just extremely defensive, right? Like, there's ramps everywhere. And I mean, Star Wars jokes aside, there is no denying that the high ground is a very, very nice place to be, especially as a Protoss player. Because, I mean, a force field over here can change everything. A storm in the choke point can change everything as well. And you're basically always going to get the first attack off, as well as with units like, for example, those Colossi. So, not really too surprised here that we're going to be seeing a bit of a longer match. Clem is going to try and come in from 2 angles here, okay? The High Templar are currently sitting instead of that Warp Prism. We do see a couple of Widow Mines trying to get some sort of work done, but... Blink. Oh, he actually puts it in the prism. That's one way of forcing the detonation. Nice little bit of control right there, although he does need to back off right there with the Stalker. Looks like there was a small little drop over here at the third base of our Protoss player as well. Widow Mines over here trying to get some work done. High Templar inside of the plane! Hello! That was sloppy. Losing a couple of those. Probably because he was busy microing right there in the Natural Expo. Now all of a sudden, this might be an army that Clem could actually push with. Colossus is out, and there is still a High Templar right there in the back too. Okay, medevac drop. Goes straight into the main base. Clem Takes the opportunity right away. One probe right here is standing on the mine. It didn't know it, but luckily here for our Protoss player, he doesn't lose all too much. Maybe this is a bit of an overextension, though, because, I mean, I'm looking at this Terran army, yeah, and it just get absolutely decimated. There's a couple of Phoenixes from earlier also helping out. Photon Cannon also responsible for 3 kills, and even though it seemed absolutely horrible there for ShoWTimE for a little bit, I mean, yeah, he lost the Prism, and then also those High Templar. Clem got a little bit too aggressive. That economy there from our Protoss wasn't really harmed at all during our game. So, or during this game, rather. So, yeah, he, I mean, he did lose a couple of probes just now, but in the early game, he wasn't really harmed whatsoever. That Protoss army was definitely a little bit bigger than what Clem probably assumed. Now, is ShoWTimE gonna retaliate and counterattack? You don't know ShoWTimE. He's not gonna counterattack right now. He probably needs at least 2 more sentries in here with some energy. Yeah, instead, this is the most ShoWTimE move you can think of. He's like, okay, so I'm ahead. How do I get more ahead? And honestly, statistically speaking, right, efficiency-wise, making a new base is probably the best way of doing it, because it's something that you have complete control over. Whereas if you're, you know, relying on fighting your opponent on the other side of the map and trying to get a good trade there, it requires your opponent to also mess up, right? So obviously there's also a ramp since the map is mirrored rather on the other side. I mean, it's very difficult for ShoWTimE to actually retaliate like that. Most players will do both, where they will try and counterattack and expand behind, but ShoWTimE probably has played a couple too many games against Clem at this point. He knows very well that the Terran here is usually with a couple of medevacs out on the map. Now, once again, a very nice fight right here for our Protoss, okay? EMP does eventually come up, so that's something that's going to force his army back. Dark Shrine is coming up. We see the Disruptors now also added into the mix. This is becoming a much more sophisticated Protoss army here as the game progresses. Now, we do see a bit of a switch as well for the Terran player into, of course, those Ghosts, into 3-3. A couple of Vikings are added into the mix as well, but this is a much more well-rounded Protoss army already. Especially if, yeah, Clem just keeps on making Marine Marauder. He's going to be in some trouble here going forward. Shadow Stride ability now also being researched. That's the Dark Templar Blink. And this is one of the hardest things to actually do properly as a Protoss player. You can see that he's splitting up his units. So, the way that this map progresses, right? So, Terran is a lot more mobile. The way that this map usually progresses is that you're kind of like, you fan out, right? So, you start in the main base and the natural, and then you kind of have to take the bases all over the map. So, you gotta split up your units properly. It's just that Protoss units, more so than these other factions in the game, they really do benefit from all being together in one big ball. That's obviously where that Protoss Death Ball term comes from. It's very easy, though, to group everything together and then, you know, be completely blindsided and lose half an army or half a base on the other side of the map. Anyhow. Real quick. Ghosts have a skill called EMP. It's not as flashy as, for example, Psionic Storm or these Disruptors. But with the EMP spell, especially when they have the Enhanced Shockwaves ability done, which he's already got researched here, it basically can be thrown right here as an ability on top of the Protoss army. And not only does it get rid of energy, it also gets rid of, what's it called? Shields. So all of these Protoss units have shields, and the EMP is absolutely massive. Oh my god, well there's the EMP going down. A couple of the, oh, that was very sloppy there by ShoWTimE. A couple of the Disruptors just wander forward. Well, I say a couple, it was like 4 or 5 of them. High Templar coming in from the side. And a snipe. Yep. It is gonna get rid of that High Templar as well. The High Templar obviously are energy based. Oh my god, hello, what are we doing? What are we doing? What? Did Clem just feel guilty there for a second? He's like, you know what? I just got like 5 of your Disruptors for free. Here, have like 8 of my my Ghosts. Anyways, all of a sudden this is becoming a very messy game. Which, you know, is usually the case whenever people submit really epic matches to me. Usually they're the more shaky ones where both players make a couple of errors here and there. My god, Clem. He's gonna be able to micro away there and get at least a bunch of those units out, but that felt very sloppy. Losing those High Templar is, losing the, well, also the High Templar, I guess, but also the Disruptors and then those Ghosts. It is not what you want whatsoever. ShoWTimE? What is going on here, my man? ShoWTimE just warped in 14 Dark Templar. 14 Dark Templar. This is an army that's exceptionally expensive, The thing is, with Shadow Strike, it really does not care about the planetary fortress, widow mines, or anything like that. Yep, you just blink. And with 3 attacks, can't even repair it in time. That base is already gone. Liberator coming in from the right side of the map. One Dark Templar continues fighting here for a little while longer. Probably will be scanned and killed here very soon, but that was actually kind of cool right there for ShoWTimE, so he actually ends up killing a pretty healthy chunk right there of the Terran army. Planetary Fortress here in the choke point, I absolutely love it. It's gonna be quite difficult here for the Terran player to defend this location, but obviously he buys himself a ton of time. Eventually the planetary will go down, it seems, but I mean, now the Terran army all of a sudden is showing up from a couple of different angles. Recall is gonna be used, a few more disruptors will be picked off. Okay, that's another base. Gone. No cancel on that planetary fortress either. I mean, he canceled the planetary, but didn't lift it up in time, I suppose. Okay, alright, alright. So, maybe this is, I don't really know exactly where this game took place. I believe it's part of an ESL Open Cup. And if I were to make a guess, this is one of the last games of the tournament. Because both of these players seem a little bit tired. Like, they're making uncharacteristic errors where they lose big chunks of their units for no apparent reason. But obviously, these are the type of games that can usually become epic. If both players are playing perfectly, usually we're just going to see one big clash and that's kind of it. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect from this game, but I didn't really expect people to use or to lose that many units for seemingly nothing. Okay. Those ghosts screaming very loudly whenever they get picked off. The Dark Templar are still available. They do a lot of damage. I mean, now there's Liberators here. There's a Widow Mine. I mean, I think that Widow Mine was already there, but can't really be too aggressive. Okay. Feedback there as well on one of the High Templar, or from one of the High Templar, one of the ghosts to prevent it from getting EMP'd. Liberator count is slowly climbing, so we're up to 7 already. 2 more are coming up. Clem all of a sudden is going into full turtle mode, it seems. Now it's ShoWTimE, who's wandering around the map much more aggressively. Finally kills that planetary from earlier. He doesn't really have a very reliable counter to Liberators at all, though, so we're soon going to be at 11 Liberators. And, I mean, other than Stalkers, there's really not that much anti-air available. The Terran Bio Army has been growing very, very solidly. There's already a +1 flyer attack, by the way, for ShoWTimE, which I love. EMP's the Nexus, alright. Actually, I think he EMP'd the shield battery. Seemed like he EMP'd the Nexus. Okay, base ends up going down here. Another expansion also was killed there by the Terran, or for the Terran player. Liberator over here being a little bit annoying. Terran moves into the right side here as well and ends up killing even more stuff. 35 probes end up going down. Recall apparently is currently on cooldown, so ShoWTimE is awkwardly wandering back home. New base being acquired in the top left. This expo that just finished up for ShoWTimE. Oh, Clem! Oof. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here, but this expo here for ShoWTimE looks like it will be picked off as well. There it is. And even though eventually this Terran army is going to be countered, I'm pretty sure, a lot of damage was dealt on the other side of the map as well. Alright, so how much eco are we on right now for the both of them? Terran seems to be ever so slightly ahead as far as the income goes right now, but that could be a few of those mules that still need to expire. New expo gets spotted right away. What a messy game. I can just imagine both of these guys like half hanging over their keyboard. Look at this. Only 400 actions per minute here on average throughout this match. It's like they're not even trying anymore. Oh my god. Alright. Just bowling backwards. He's like, back off! I don't want you fighting me. Back off, I told you. Well, he goes through the choke point. That's obviously the advantage of the Disruptor. The Disruptor doesn't have energy. So, I mean, it can still be EMP'd, but it won't nullify that Purification Nova. Jimmy the Marine over here finds Zachary the Zealot. Will be absolutely trashed. Oh, no, Clem! I like how I started off this cast explaining that these guys are like the best players in their respective races on the European server of the last decade or so, and then, you know, I mean, it's easy to make mistakes, don't get me wrong, but we see quite a few errors here from both of them. I know that a lot of the pros, I believe actually, From what I've heard, Clem lives like a very pro-gamer lifestyle. In the sense that apparently he wakes up late in the afternoon and he basically plays all throughout the night. Based in the center of the map, once again gets killed here by ShoWTimE. Coming in, man. How many expansions have we seen go down? Okay, so there's the EMPs going down. EMP does actually temporarily reveal those Dark Templar. ShoWTimE immediately comes back in for more. He wants to really desperately kill this base as well. 13 Liberators, though. I mean, there's Stalkers available, but, like, we gotta respect the Liberator count here, ShoWTimE. Except for you, apparently. Simon the Stalker. Actually, no, that's my name. Do you believe my mom didn't actually call me Lowko? I know, this is crazy. I came up with the name Lowko myself. Every day I have people reminding me, Lowko, did you know that Lowko means crazy in Spanish? And I'm like, what, really? I had no idea! What was that, man? He walked into it! Alright. Anyways, what I was trying to get at is maybe this game was played right after Clem was, you know, just waking up, right? He didn't have his, croissant yet. No pain au chocolat. ShoWTimE, I don't really know exactly what kind of life he lives, but he seems very healthy. Whenever I look at him, he's like, yeah, he's got perfect posture, always very fit. I can't imagine ShoWTimE probably wakes up at 4 in the morning, starts his 3-hour-long morning routine. Hashtag entrepreneur. Hashtag buy my course. Hashtag pro gamer, right? And then by like 3 p.m. he's exhausted. Anyway, maybe maybe that's what's going on. Actually, funnily enough, okay, there is a drop going on right now inside of the main base. And there is a counter right here on the other side as well. Okay, here's the Liberator count. Ooh. My god. Yeah, those Liberators are very scary. They do a ton of damage. Obviously, they need to be repositioned constantly, though. Drop in the main base. There's actually one landed Viking over here too. Disruptors! Okay, he only activated a couple of them. He wants to drop on top of all of those Disruptors, I think. Okay, now, already preemptively ShoWTimE was thinking the same thing. Still microing on the other side of the map too, trying to pick off whatever he can. Yeah, those Liberators are awkward. They can technically fight this Protoss army very well, but they obviously have to constantly be repositioned. Command center will actually live. Whew. Alright, we're 22 minutes into this game, and already like 140-something workers have gone down. That base in the top left-hand corner is now actually the, oh, it is spotted as well by Clem. It is one of the main mining locations. Protoss doesn't have a whole lot of money anymore. 30 probes are over here, so the worker count can be a little bit deceiving. Yes, Clem has less, but his command centers can fly, which is pretty neat. It's a pretty nice skill to have. Look at all the SCVs, by the way. Long distance mining wherever they can. They actually have to go all the way back into the main base. Advanced ballistics is done, by the way. That's that Liberator ranged upgrade. Okay, and now he's actually forced to retreat. This is very, very important, actually, by Clem. Shutting down this base over here is huge. There's not a whole lot of mining anymore here for our Protoss player! My god, man! I've seen like 7 of those big balls. Like, just destroying Terran armies. Anyways, eventually this expo will also end up going down. Liberator staying at home for the defense. ShoWTimE retaking that base that he had some time ago. Planetary not morphed in over here yet because Clem can't afford it. And it looks like he might end up losing this CC eventually, although no, the SCVs are still repairing it back up. There's one Colossus here, 19 kills. 11 kills on the Immortal. Disruptors. Alright. Wouldn't mind seeing a new Nexus here acquired in the center of the map as well, but obviously every single time you spend resources on a new base, it means you've got less army. Both of these players actually have like no income at all. Oh, there we go once again. Nice dodge this time around here by Clem. So only 4 Liberators remain. Guess they got slowly picked off during all of those battles. A couple here, a couple there. Zachary the Zealot over here. Well, the SCVs are trying to fight it, but this is a well-upgraded Zealot. Yeah, we have only +1 shields right here, but that's not all too surprising. They're not cheap, these upgrades. I think the CC will eventually burn down, right? It needs some sort of defense. And if it doesn't get repaired, it will be killed. At the same time, Clem, rather than trying to defend at home, has decided he wants to go for the counterattack as well. Newly acquired expansion by ShoWTimE. Look how beautiful it is. They just finished the golden paint and everything, dude. One of the Protoss pyramids just got constructed, and he's, you know, before the Pharaoh could even pass away, right? Already it's being destroyed. Bit of a jerk move there by Clem. Planetary Fortress stays alive for a while, but now it gets very awkward. So wait, we only have 3 Nexi remaining. They're all at locations without mineral patches. We have 2 orbital commands, but they're both inside of the main base without any mineral patches. This is actually very crazy. The problem is, right, Protoss can still recall here. The disruptors. Oh, he's got to walk them back home. Okay, base in the top left corner actually gets scanned. Clem decides to commit a scan right here. I mean, it's important, obviously, that he keeps track, right, of this this army. But, okay, don't lose the Colossus. Don't lose the Colossus. Don't lose the Colossus. The hero Colossus and a disruptor both get killed. Marines, Marauder, and a Ghost, as well as a bunch of Medivacs inside of the main base, shutting down every single pylon that they can see just to make sure that they can pile on the pressure themselves. Haha! Anyways, I would kill the Dark Shrine, man. I hate playing against Dark Shrines. Even though it's not that big a deal right now, but, like, you should probably get rid of the Dark Shrine, I'm just saying. I feel like the Stargate is not that important. SCVs get found on the left side of the map. ShoWTimE is going to start destroying those as well. Only a handful of workers actually remain. These are the last 3. These are the last 3 SCVs that are available at this point for the Terran player. Oh my god. Don't blink! No! Oh my god, alright. They want it. What? How was that the move? How do you live? Anyways, I thought turning back around against that Protoss army was the fastest way to die. But instead, apparently, the SCV figured out a way to still be around. Clem has got 69 supply at this point in the game, and honestly, that's not very nice. No, it's not really that much. I mean, half of that supply is in Medivacs. Pretty much. It's a little shaky. Oh, they can't reach! This is actually broken. Hey, look, we're learning the new map. So, this Liberator is unreachable with Stalkers. Yikes! Advanced ballistics is done. There's a little bit of a doodad over here. I think if these barrels weren't here, the Stalkers could actually reach it, but the barrels are here and now the Stalkers can't. Bunch of the probes decide to start long distance mining over here instead. That Liberator now has 16 kills. Oh, Widowmine over here as well, also being a bit of a jerk. How many workers have been going down? Okay, we're coming up on 200 probes and probes and SCVs. SCVs! Ow! I'm trying to get to Michael Jackson. Okay. SCV! Okay, no, I won't be doing that to you. And she was more beauty queen. Okay, no. Anyways, probes get picked off. Honestly, this is where the 2 mining bases of our Protoss player are. I mean, he just planted down a new Nexus. Don't know if this was spotted just now. Yeah, it was, so Clem knows. He's gonna be heading on over in that direction. The problem is that Mr. Clem himself is also not mining a whole lot. He's still got 2 orbital commands, one of them flying on the left side, one of them flying on the right side. Orbital's obviously very expensive. War Prism can stay alive for now, that's nice. I mean, +3 is pretty strong, never mind. Not any production here for any of them, so I guess I'll switch on over to the units tab. Now, I think it's worth reminding you all, and regular viewers of my YouTube videos love it whenever this line comes up in a cast. The win condition in a game of StarCraft 2 is to kill all of your opponent's structures. Now, at the pro level, we usually don't get to that point. However, I feel like recently we've been seeing it a lot more often. There's still a lot of structures available at this moment, but these players can't really build anything. I mean, a new Nexus once again being acquired. ShoWTimE going for the right side of the map this time. Okay, left side, there's still that last orbital command. The very last one. How many Liberators are there? Just 3, okay. One landed Viking pretending to be a Marauder over there as well, which is kind of good, I guess. Clem has like 1 SCV. Yeah, that's the one all the way down south. So he basically has no income. He's making a new worker all the way on the left side of the map. Now, if we're gonna start like building an economy off of single-digit workers, it's gonna take absolutely forever. Luckily here, ShoWTimE. I mean, that Dark Shrine from earlier didn't get killed, huh? ShoWTimE apparently. Oh my god. SCV, no. SCV, no. What did that... What? How did that Dark Templar attack something and nothing took damage? Did you see that? That was weird. SCV apparently saw the little shimmer. He's like, not on my watch. I'm backing off. Ghost comes up. It's weird to see a Dark Templar uncloaked. Anyways, eventually it will be cloaked once again. This is where the real fight is probably gonna take place, though. Okay, Liberator gets sniped. Nicely done right there by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, like, sending one of those purification balls forward at a time, making it very difficult for the Terran player to actually come in. Liberator. Oh my god, actually, that connected. I didn't think that Clem was gonna go backwards. Is there enough here? Okay, Terran actually decides to lift up all of the units inside of the plane to try and keep all of this alive. Pylon is done at this point, so maybe a couple of shield batteries wouldn't necessarily hurt, although there's not that much money remaining. Honestly, I don't think there's even remotely enough for the Terran player to take on this army. Good control, though. Beautiful micro here by Clem. Keeping whatever units he does have. I mean, as long as he doesn't take a ball to the face, it's okay. Yeah, every time there's a Purification Nova coming out, he picks up and gets on out of there. And then he drops them off again. So I guess he doesn't get on out of there. Anyways, you get what I'm getting at. Zealot joining in the fray as well, which I love. He's got to be very careful, though. If he loses all those Liberators, that would really suck. One of those Liberators, though, getting a ton of work done. I think eventually it will be picked off. Couple of reinforcing Marines are coming up. Here's a Dark Templar. Dude, the Dark Shrine earlier? I'm just telling you guys, the Dark... What? Oh, alright. I actually didn't think it was gonna just... Forcing a scan here is huge. I guess it's the Ghost. Yeah, the Ghost is massive. Goes with EMPs. Once again, temporarily can reveal it. Looks like there's a Widow Mine over here. Trying to get some work done. Oh my god, very ballsy way of cleaning up that Widow Mine inside of the mineral line. So there's 9 probes mining here for ShoWTimE versus 2 for Clem on the other side of the map. Thing is, there's still a mule there in the mix, so if you look at the income tab, yeah, there's actually slightly more income here for the Terran player until the mule expired. Every time it returns a trip, it boosts it up a little bit. 2 Zealots marching towards that base of the Terran player. Protoss really wants to fight this, but beautiful control there by, well, I say that, of course, immediately he loses a bunch of stuff. Love the fact, though, that the Protoss actually decided to send in 2 of those Zealots towards the other side. Absolutely super easy at this point in the game to just try and commit to, well, putting everything in one big bowl. Shield battery eventually does finish, which I love. I think a shield battery here is massive. And honestly, this is an advantage right now for Protoss. Very, very, very significant advantage here for Protoss. We're only at 13 Marines. 13 Marines, 3 Stalkers, 5 Zealots, and 4... Oh my god, that Disruptor is running very low. 4 Disruptors. The Disruptors, though, in these small battles seem kind of negated, right? I mean, the Terran player seems to be taking care of those quite well. All of a sudden, both of these players are microing, like, much better than they were doing earlier. I guess there's not that many battles here to focus on anymore. Nexus goes down eventually. And even though Terran's not mining, so is the Protoss. The Protoss right now has no longer got really any income. Probably should have triggered the battery overcharge a little bit sooner to keep that Nexus alive, but alas, he decided against it. Alright, so now the probes are forced to long distance mine. Zealots over here are still forcing this orbital command to hang around. Since there's no real production inside of the main base, reinforcements can't really clean this up. I mean, honestly, that's the CC dead. Yeah, he wanted to scan, I guess. He wanted to scan to maybe get rid of, like, I don't know, a Dark Templar. But now that's the final command center gone. That was the last command center. Still 2 Nexi available, so long distance mining here is better than nail. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh jeez, he could have killed one more, but anyways, Clem is now revealed. This means that ShoWTimE can see every single one of the last Terran structures on the minimap. The problem is, there's no way he's going to be able to march across. He knows that there's still plenty of structures on the other side of the map, but this does give him the indication at this point that there's not a whole lot of mining anymore. A couple of probes right now are also being fed into that Terran army. 3 medevacs remaining for this force is honestly very nice because he can keep healing them up. One of the medevacs very low on hit points, though. I think, honestly, you want to kill those. Ooh, Stalkers obviously do regenerate shields. Okay. There's so many structures still remaining. For the amount of units that these guys have, it's actually insane. So there's no way for Clem to really get any kind of economy up anymore. Zero chance. ShoWTimE does still have a couple of probes somewhere. Literally a couple. And he does still have next side to return resources to. So that's something. You'd imagine, right? That 4 Stalkers, 2 Disruptors would win against this kind of Marine army. But I guess so far, oh my god, with the micro that Clem has been doing, it's actually playable for him. Imagine if he could warp in like 1 Dark Templar at this stage in the game. That would be absolutely huge. Are these 4 Marines actually going to be able to win the game? Only 2 Stalkers remain. 1 of the Disruptors, 2 of the Disruptors. Both of them end up going down. 4 Marines versus 2 Stalkers. I mean, it's been 4 Marines versus 6 Stalkers and 2 Disruptors. All of a sudden, Clem microing his little heart out, making sure that he keeps all of those units alive. Still needs to be careful. Now all of a sudden he's got the high ground, but it doesn't matter too much because Protoss still has that vision. Oh my god. Is Clem actually doing this? We're at 6 supply for Protoss, 10 supply for Terran. He's poking and prodding, but these medevacs have so much health. Or sorry, so much energy. 130, 145-ish. These Marines are gonna be healed up for a very long time. I mean, it's not for a lack of trying on ShoWTimE's part. Here's another Stimpack being utilized. Stimpack obviously does cost a lot of energy, but honestly, I'm looking at these 2 medevacs. ShoWTimE probably looking at them as well. He's like, wait, how do I kill those? If you can snipe the medevacs, then these Stalkers can win against the Marines. But Clem is doing a phenomenal job right now, keeping those units back. Need to be very careful, ShoWTimE. Don't lose one of your Stalkers. 1 Nexus goes down. The 2 probes are holding hands right now on the right side. There's really no other option, though, for our Protoss here either, right? Protoss can't really go across the map at this point and try to kill all of this. It's never gonna happen. These structures are gonna float in every direction. So ShoWTimE needs to clean up those units. The probes! Oh no! The probes! I think you guys are being... I think you're bait! I'm pretty sure you guys are being added into the mix here to maybe soak up some damage. I don't know. I'm not even sure that really matters, though, because... if these probes die, the best that ShoWTimE can hope for is a draw. Which is probably not what you want either. Nexus goes down. And that means that ShoWTimE is now also completely broke. 2 Stalkers versus 4 Marines. Oh, he really wants to kill them, but beautiful control here by Clem, keeping the weakened units back, microing his heart out on every single one of these guys. These are the most precious Marines I've ever seen. Clem probably gave them all names. He's like, Simon, go forth! Mike, get him! Walter! Target the Stalker! These guys have stories to tell. They single-handedly took care of like 4 Disruptors as well. Stalker's actually got into the main base. He's trying to set up a cheeky little surround, I guess, to maybe pick off the medevacs, but at this point they get spotted. Okay. I think Clem wins this. I'm not sure. If Clem keeps microing like this, I'm not sure how ShoWTimE could stop it. Once again, good control there. Every single time we see him do anything. The problem is, actually, hold up. This right over here in the bottom right-hand corner where these 2 probes are hanging out are considered structures. If ShoWTimE got those 2 Stalkers parked on top of the shield batteries, or the shield battery, it's gonna be very difficult for Clem to actually kill that. I think if you're ShoWTimE at this point, I mean, you can keep trying over here, but it's evidently not happening. You're not really getting rid of the medevac energy either. As a matter of fact, it's climbing. I think, yeah, you join forces right here with the probes and just try and see if you can maybe fight it out over there. Looking at this, Marines on the high ground, can they target the pylon? If they can target the pylon, I think it's GG. I'm not sure. We'll see. I think we have to head on over in that direction. Are there any other shield batteries out? No, there's just the one. Alright. Both of these guys obviously extremely intelligent, so they know what they're looking for. Imagine one Dark Templar, though. Oh. This is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Clem going full alpha. Flying the barracks and the starports and everything forward in the direction of the stalkers. I kind of dig it, actually. This is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Clem's like, come get me if you want to. I don't care. Fight me. Alright, there's finally the Dark Shrine being picked off. Medevac? Okay. Honestly, Medevacs can't heal. There's no way for the Medevacs to heal at this point. So, honestly, if you can pick up one or two of those, I mean, that's a game changer. If the Medevacs die, if he takes another Foley right there on that one on the right, I'm pretty sure it's dead. Then this is playable once again here for our Protoss player. Okay, so both players are revealed, of course. So, there's not really any secrets. ShoWTimE can see these barracks coming through the fog of war as well, because he has got full vision of his opponent. Alright. So I don't actually know what ends up happening here. Alright. You gotta be so careful though. Like if these players lose focus for about 5 seconds, this game can be over. Is he trying to... They have blink, my man. They have blink. You can try and wall them in, I suppose, but... If these guys lose focus for like 5 seconds though, this can be the end of the game. So they really need to stay focused, and we're now at 40 minutes. Plus, honestly, is he trying to build a full wall up at the bottom of the blink? No way! Ooh, okay. I was gonna say, these guys seem a little bit tired from what we saw earlier throughout this match, but that was actually very clever thinking there from Clem. Clem trying to make a wall up over here, and then also... I've never seen that before. Literally never seen that before in a game of StarCraft. The SCVs from the other side of the map are also pulled forward. Can he surround this? Or, like, say he goes over here and he lands all of the structures in that area. What happens? I'm not sure. This could actually still be either of these two guys' game. I've got a feeling Clem has a slight advantage. Oh my god. He's spending his last couple of minerals. Look at this. You see the minerals and the gas going down? He's spending his last resources here to try and fetch these medeffects back up. Yeah. Yeah. Now that makes perfect sense. Alright, well there it is. You need both minerals and gas to repair them, so... He's not gonna get any more health than that, but that's honestly pretty sick. Clem is actually so on point here still. I'm so impressed by him. Insane. Anyways, this barracks is burning, so it will be killed. It is gonna burn down over the course of the next minute or so. There's a lot of attachments and things. Yeah, I think the best at this point that Protoss can hope for is a draw. Because, I mean, technically speaking, one of these structures should be able to fly in a location on this map, like say over there, that the stalkers just can't reach, right? So there should really not be... Clem can still hope for a draw and for a win, I think. I'm just not entirely sure how he's gonna take care of the shield battery. Because he has seen the shield battery. He knows that the battle will take place over there. Alright. The final structures of our Protoss are slowly being killed. Final structures in the natural, that is. But I don't even know if they're really that relevant. I don't know if ShoWTimE, yeah, he can see obviously these stalkers here too. Or sorry, the medeffects here too, so he knows. My god. Can you just let him kill your final structures, ShoWTimE? Nothing's happening, man. There you go. Appreciate you, dude. Oh. Yeah, medeffects can also heal SCVs. I feel like this game would go faster if ShoWTimE just gave up a few of these structures because there's no way he's gonna get any unit kills anyway. Maybe this is him just, you know, trying to tire out his opponent. He's just going for like a round 5 kind of victory, right? I don't know anything about boxing, but wait, is it boxing that has the... I don't know how many rounds they do in boxing. Anyways, he's going for a late game victory is what I'm trying to get at by tiring his opponent out. Shield batteries, of course, have a limited amount of energy that they can heal as well. This shield battery is now at 100. This is about to be very awkward. Look at this. This is very intimidating, actually. This is actually extremely intimidating. One of these guys is burning and it doesn't even matter. It's gonna eventually fall, but nobody cares. Medevacs need to be in the right place, and they will heal everything up once again. All right. The final stand of the Protoss. Can he out DPS the healing right here? I mean, he really wants to. Nice little bit of pickup micro right here by the Terran player, trying to keep everything alive. Medevac. Oh my god, the SCVs. So important here. And I think with that, it has to be... Did he lose a Marine? He did? No. Yeah, he did. He did lose a Marine. Oh my god. Oh my god, he loses a Stalker. Oh, I think with that, it is just gonna be barely, but just barely, Clem who obtains the victory. Hey, if you made it all the way until the end of this video, please hit the like button down below. That way this video might very well get picked up by the YouTube algorithm, and that way we can try and still grow StarCraft 2 going forward. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you again in the next one.